During that time, Daniele Toledo do Prado, a 21-year-old young mother with 2 children under her care, lived in the peaceful city of Taubaté, located in the interior of the state of São Paulo. Her educational journey had culminated in completing high school, and she worked as a receptionist at a psychology clinic and as an attendant at an emergency care facility in Tremembe. However, her commitment to work was abruptly interrupted due to the health problems of her youngest daughter, who, being born prematurely, faced serious challenges such as seizures and fainting spells. Daniele shared her residence with her father, mother, 2 siblings, and her 2 adorable offspring. She had plans to marry the father of her older son, a 3-year-old child. On the 30th of September in the year 2006, Daniele, distressed, admitted her daughter Vittoria Maria Carvalho, who was a year and 3 months old, to the University Hospital of Taubaté, a private higher education institution, due to symptoms of seizures and vomiting that were afflicting the little one. The 8th of October arrived, and her daughter was still under hospital care, but what would happen on that day would leave a deep scar in Daniele's life. She was a victim of a terrible abuse perpetrated by a resident doctor, a 5th-year medical student at the mentioned hospital institution. The press preserved the name of the aggressor, but according to Daniele's account, her daughter was threatened if she did not consent to the abuses by the aggressor. On the day following the heinous act, the 9th of October, Daniele had the courage to report the incident to the General Investigations Police, DIG, of Taubaté, where the chief detective, Paulo Roberto Rodrigues, took responsibility for investigating the case. Daniele provided her detailed testimony and identified the medical student through a photograph. Subsequently, the student also gave his statement on October 16th, vehemently denying any involvement with Daniele. The university, aware of the incident, issued a press release stating that they had initiated an internal investigation into the case. The police collected semen samples from the student for a DNA test, stating that the results would likely be available in the first half of November 2006. Following the guidance of the police authorities, Daniele also underwent a forensic examination at the Medical Legal Institute, IML, which confirmed that she had been a victim of sexual assault. After the report of sexual assault, Daniele was again called in for questioning at the police station on October 19th because doctors had claimed to have found a white powder substance suspected to be cocaine on her daughter's neck. Without Daniele's consent, blood and urine tests were conducted on the child, which, to the relief of everyone, came back negative for cocaine. During the period when Vittoria Maria was hospitalized, doctors diagnosed a range of health issues, including brain malformation, metabolic disorders, epilepsy, acute tonsillitis, urinary tract infection, and seizures. Despite this complex medical condition, the child was discharged on October 25th, with doctors stating that her condition allowed for continued treatment at home. Notably, on the day of her discharge, the medical team sent a notification to the Child Protective Services, alerting to the possible need for psychological counseling for the mother due to the trauma she had faced. Get ready for a story that would change the fate of everyone. A typical day, a mother, 2 children, a peaceful town. But what happened on that day? Why? In a place where justice is blind, dark secrets emerge. This is the story of Daniele Toledo do Prado, a young mother who faced the greatest injustice of her life. Watch and discover the incredible twist that shook Brazil. Join us on this journey through a puzzle of pain and resilience, where the truth is more surprising than fiction. Welcome to the Criminal Chronicles channel. If you're fascinated by unexplained mysteries and intriguing challenges, this is the right place for you. Welcome to another video filled with sinister enigmas and stories that will captivate your attention from start to finish. If you love solving intriguing cases and diving into mysterious narratives, don't waste any time and join us right now. Subscribe to the channel and activate notifications so you don't miss any details of the mysteries we will explore together from now on. And of course, if you can give that like right at the beginning of the video, know that it makes all the difference so that I can continue bringing engaging content to you. Let's dive headfirst into another intriguing journey. Let's go. On the 28th day of October, a Saturday that would be etched in the memory of Daniele Toledo do Prado, little Vittoria succumbed once again to the same alarming symptoms. seizures and vomiting. Desperate, Daniele rushed to the university hospital, armed with a letter signed by 2 doctors authorizing the immediate hospitalization of her daughter in case of an emergency. However, the hospital's doors closed in front of them. There was no room for little Vittoria. Determined to seek help, Daniele took her daughter to the Taubate Municipal Emergency Room, arriving there at 8:30 in the evening, but time seemed to pass slowly. The unconscious child waited until 4:25 in the morning on Sunday to finally receive treatment. At that moment, she received intravenous glucose, and a white substance from the child's tongue was collected for analysis. However, the morning of Sunday, October 29th, would bring unimaginable sadness, as Vittoria Maria Carvalho passed away after a 3rd cardiopulmonary arrest. The trauma of losing her daughter would not be the only suffering that Daniele would endure. The attending physician at the emergency room, in a cruel and insensitive manner, dragged Daniele by the arm to the place where Vittoria's body lay. With terrible accusations, she uttered words that would echo in Daniele's mind like an unrelenting hammer. "Look what you've done. You're a murderer. Face what you did. Monster." How could a healthcare professional, at such a painful moment for the mother, make such accusations without solid evidence? It was evident that the intention, which had already been shown before, was to incriminate Daniele and discredit her allegation of sexual abuse. From this accusation, endorsed by the medical staff, Daniele's fate began to crumble. The Taubate Institute of Forensic Science conducted a preliminary toxicological test, known as the blue test, which uses a substance that changes color upon contact with cocaine. To everyone's surprise, the result was positive for the presence of the drug, as stated by Dr. Paolo Roberto of the Taubate General Investigations Department. Coincidentally, this same detective was in charge of investigating the abuse that Daniele had suffered. Without a search and seizure warrant, and according to the same police officer, Daniele had authorized the searches, the police officers collected a baby bottle containing a white powder, which supposedly tested positive for cocaine. On the same night, Daniele was arrested on the spot and taken to the Pindamonhangaba public jail. When morning came, the other inmates had already heard the news and turned against the supposed bottle monster. The case shocked everyone due to the presence of a child. The media led a relentless campaign for Daniele's conviction, accusing her of killing her own daughter with a cocaine overdose and sending her to a women's prison. The outcome was predictable. When Daniele finally managed to speak, she recounted the atrocities she had suffered. They shoved a pen halfway into her ear and beat her for hours. All of this happened without the intervention of prison authorities, leaving her with permanent hearing and vision impairments and a fractured jaw. It seemed like a conspiracy involving various sectors. The public prosecutor's office, the civil police, and the media was at play. The delegate, Paolo Roberto, in an attempt to justify and normalize the accusation against the mother, made controversial statements. At the end of October 30th, a gloomy Monday, Daniele was transferred to the Santa Casa de Pindamonhangaba emergency room, remaining unconscious. Her condition was so critical that they considered transferring her to an intensive care unit, ICU. During this distressing period, Daniele could not receive visits from her lawyer or her parents, who were kept in the dark about her health. Her mother was only able to see her 15 days after the events. Finally, after 3 days, Daniele was discharged on November 2nd and sent to the Kakapava public jail. As for the punishment for the alleged crime committed by the mother, the justice system surprised with its swiftness. In the week of October 6th, the Taubat Jury Prosecutor's Office presented the case's indictment to the court. Prosecutor João Carlos Maia requested Daniele's conviction for the crime of qualified homicide, alleging a trivial motive and the use of cruel means, with aggravating factors related to the victim's age and kinship. The indictment was accepted by the judge. While Daniele was detained, her lawyer, Dr. Gladiva de Almeida Ribeiro, repeatedly emphasized that her client was not a cocaine user, having only given her daughter an anticonvulsant pill. She also pointed out that Vittoria's death certificate listed the cause of death as unknown. During this time, the lawyer even filed a habeas corpus petition for Daniele, which was denied. It was only on December 5th that the definitive report from the São Paulo Institute of Criminalistics was released, excluding the presence of cocaine both in Vittoria's bottle and in the child's mouth. The white powder was, in fact, the anti-convulsant medication. The bottle monster story turned out to be a plot concocted by various authorities to cover up the crime of sexual violence. The report that exonerated Daniele was prepared on November 22nd by the forensic expert Monica Marcondes Felgueiras from São José dos Campos, but it was only released 13 days later. At this point, the justice system appeared quick to arrest, but slow to reveal the evidence that cleared Daniele. Faced with this evidence, the civil police stated that they were still awaiting the results of the child's blood and urine tests to determine the cause of death. With this evidence in hand, the judge of the Taubat court issued a release order for Daniele. It had been 37 long days of imprisonment, marked by the brutal beating inflicted by the police, judicial, and prison authorities. The Taubate justice system granted Daniele provisional freedom. The judge considered that other reports would not change the already clarified fact, the absence of cocaine. Upon leaving prison, Daniele reunited with her family and her lawyer. Tears flowed freely, and she finally had the opportunity to share her version of events. She then requested to visit her daughter's grave for the first time, where she left flowers. However, when it comes to the case related to the sexual assault suffered by Daniele, it seems to have reached an impasse. The Legal Medical Institute, IML, confirmed the sexual assault. Daniele identified her attacker to the police, and he agreed to undergo a DNA test. However, this test could not be conducted. The regional police chief Roberto Martins, after Daniele's release, claimed that the report came back negative because there was no material in her genital area to prove the abuse. It became evident in an examination performed by the IML experts, but there was no material available for comparison with the blood of the student identified as the perpetrator. The sexual assailant had used a condom, which explained his willingness to undergo the DNA test. After a 30-day suspension from the university during the investigation, he vehemently denied any involvement with Daniele. As a result, after this period, he resumed his academic activities as usual. The revelation of this turn of events in the case pressured the local media to question the justice system in Taubate. In September 2008, Daniele was finally acquitted of the charges. The young woman began receiving a monthly pension from the government to cover her medical treatment. In a press statement, Daniele shared her reflections. "I wasn't cleared due to lack of evidence. The judge concluded that I was innocent. No amount of money I may receive will erase what I went through. I spent about 3 years with a dead mother, and I fell into depression. I even tried to take my own life. I only regret for those doctors who accused me at the time. I don't have anger." She believed that the accusations of causing Vittoria's death stemmed from the reports against the sexual aggressor, even though the tragedy occurred at another hospital. Daniele expressed her wish. "My dream was to have a boy and a girl. I felt fulfilled as a woman and a mother, but that was taken from me. It still leaves marks to this day. One day God will help me overcome this, to set me free. Vittoria taught me to be a better person, not to judge others. I try very hard to understand the people who did this to me. I felt a lot of anger, a lot of hatred, but today I can lay my head on the pillow knowing I did nothing wrong. But can these people who accused me?" Authorities played a significant role in the quick conviction of the supposed baby bottle monster, without proper investigation or trial. The whole story turned out to be a farce. The press reported the case in detail, except for one crucial detail: the involvement of the aunt herself in dragging the young mother's life into the abyss. The region's leading newspaper released statements like, "The woman was arrested after her daughter died from a cardiorespiratory arrest caused by a cocaine overdose." One of the country's largest news portals almost justified the attacks Daniele suffered in prison, suggesting that the inmates were outraged by the brutality of the alleged crime. In 2016, Daniele released her book titled Powdered Sadness. This profound and moving work narrates the true story of one of the greatest injustices and cruelties experienced by a mother in Brazil. The shocking details of this drama involve not only medicine, but also justice and the media. Daniele's emotionally charged words fill every page of the book, revealing the dark and somber side of this tragic narrative. More than just telling her own story, the book invites the reader to a profound reflection on the values and hasty actions that resulted in such suffering and injustice. Powdered Sadness is a powerful testimony of human resilience and the pursuit of justice after an unimaginable ordeal. And so we conclude another fascinating dive into the shadows of the world of crime and mysteries. If you were intrigued by the twists, puzzles, and engaging narratives we explored here on the Criminal Chronicles channel, don't miss the chance to join us on this ongoing journey. Subscribe to the channel right now to not miss any electrifying episodes to come. Each case, each detail meticulously investigated, relies on your support to keep happening. Leave your like, because that's what motivates us to continue bringing you quality content and meticulous investigations. Comments are also essential. Share your theories, opinions, and ideas. Your participation makes this community even richer and full of energy to unravel the greatest criminal mysteries. Remember, producing videos as engaging as this is a challenge, but with your support, we can continue to explore stories that stir our investigative instincts. So don't waste any time. If you're not already part of this passionate community of mystery and intrigue lovers, click the subscribe button, activate notifications, and leave your mark in the comments and likes. Together, we will uncover the most complex secrets of the criminal underworld. Until the next video, detectives.